Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to get into the Tukayyid video of Text Talks Battletech. This is going to be something that I was actually told I needed to wait to watch, but I'll be completely honest. I have had so many people in the comments, on Discord, random people I met in comic shops who didn't actually know anything about this video series or even text. They just started talking about Tukayyid because they heard Battletech, and I'm just sitting there going, this is fine. Sure. I have no idea what's going on. I recognize words like clan, but that's literally about the extent of that conversation. So we're just going to jump ahead and look straight now at the Battle of Tukayyid, remembering May 20th, 3052. I don't know what we're about to get into, which is literally why I'm watching this now instead of waiting until people, a lot of people, most people, literally every single damn person in the comments almost said to wait. I'm going to ignore all of that because I just want to find out right away. Is that a good reason? I mean, it's about as dumb as my usual reason, so let's just go with no. You guys know the deal. There's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. It's Tex. You guys know he's good. Do that. After that, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started. Ooh,
hey there, folks.
Black Pants
Tex
Legion
the Black
Institute.
Pants Legion here. Yes,
kind of
we're
run down.
working on the next Tex Talks Battletech, but this one here is going to be a special.
No
In
smock
between episode.
king.
This episode is something that had to be said, and had to be said today of all days.
Oh, yeah, of course. This happened on... Did this actually... May 20th. May 20th. Can we all just pretend I realize that in advance? Because I would like to pretend that the obvious fact that it's right in the title and the date match, and I'm just judging myself a bit here for the literal bit of obviousness I should have caught. It's right in the title. It's like, okay, why is May 30th? Yeah, I know 2K had happened on May 30th. Because literally everyone's mentioned that. That's literally the only thing I know about this other than the clans lost and AT&T kicked their ass. I think that's a joke, but also considering AT&T may or may not still be here, it could actually be AT&T. I don't know, and that kind of worries me a bit. Also, really, no smocking or smking. Someone literally... I just want to take a second to recognize someone either had a solid image to use of a no smoking sign with a bullet hole over the O, or text decided they needed to edit in SM King. You know what? There's a lot of things that could also mean that are kind of funny, but I'm also not going to say it because of YouTube reasons. So let's ignore that comment ever happened.
Of all days. Those of you who know why are smiling. Those of you who don't, well, buckle up. Here comes an education.
That's why I'm here. 2K Comstar's great gamble? How is it a gamble?
Today is not a talk about a machine. Today is a celebration.
Evolution of the Urbicus basketus, Urbicus binius, Urbicus trashcanicus. The trash can has a gun! Oh god, he literally goes spear. Who makes this stuff? And then there's the Irby right there, which honestly looks a lot more functional than the actual one because those are pretty solid legs. Like, they look like they really just copy and pasted out of a Gundam model, actually. It's actually pretty cool.
Today is May the 20th. Today, we remember the Battle of Tukayyid.
It was Tukayyid?
May the 20th, 3052 ended a battle, and in essence, a war. In a single contest of will, manpower, supplies, and crazy, the clan invasion was stopped dead on a formerly sleepy agricultural world.
Okay, yeah. I just noticed something. This is cool. This is great art. I love it. It looks... I thought it was a CGI battle scene from Mechwarrior Online because it had that CGI effect. But then I was like, nah, they wouldn't do that with all the extra effects and particles and building destruction, which looks really cool. But then I'm just like looking at all this, and then there's this guy in the corner who's just standing there. Can we just take a second to acknowledge all of this is going on? There's a guy with the jump jets and the lasers and the death and the murder and the blowy uppy, and this guy standing on the wrong side of the platform. Okay. And from what I've been told, it gets so hot in these mechs, most pilots are in as skimpy clothing as possible. So it's the one time a thong is appropriate. Not pleasant for anyone, but that's just how it goes. And then there's this guy who's fully clothed, so he's probably not a pilot. Unless he's taking the other option as a self-cooling vest. But I'm going to ignore that because it's much funnier this way. Who's just standing out there, like, hey, do you know what's a great time to take up my urban climbing hobby? In the middle of a war zone. It looks cool. It looks really cool. It looks honestly like a complete and utter mess, and literally there's no sense of order going on. It's literally just, here's some enemies, try and survive while everything jumps around and goes to hell. And then there's this guy. I can't tell if he's the craziest bastard or has the biggest balls. Probably both.
Formerly sleepy agricultural world. A world that was chosen as a proxy battle site in a desperate attempt to trick the clans into stopping their war machine in its tracks by taking advantage of their stupid ways.
Oh, so they probably made a challenge.
The stakes were as high as they could be. By 3052, the clans were making great conquests of the Inner Sphere, nearly annihilating Rosselhog and threatening the capital of the Draconis Combine. A threat so serious the DCMS lightened their death to all mercenary stance just a tad. It was assumed that if this war continued, the Inner Sphere would be a dominion of the clans within a few short years. The great houses, while having a numerical advantage, were struggling to defend themselves. This, for them, was a different kind of war. Their seeming...
I want to back up a second because this is actually one of the better maps I've seen so far, and I really want to take a look at it. So we got, let's see, right here, this is good. So we got the Draconis Combine, which I can tell. I don't remember what this is. I don't know what that is yet. Don't know what that is yet. Literally, all I know what that is because he mentioned right now. And you have the clans over here, so you get some pretty good look at this. So this is one of the things I never really got. Everyone mentions how the Inner Sphere basically has more materials. The clans had less, so they were fighting on a shoestring. Essentially, that's why they developed Honor, to minimize losses. Then, of course, it never actually worked because they're idiots and they start wasting resources in their own way, just differently. But it always sounds like the Inner Sphere just had more production, more capability, and more materials. But they had an entire galaxy. Why did they ever return? I know there's probably something going on. There's probably some kind of honor reason that someone took advantage of. And I'm just assuming that because, I mean, it sounds like the entire preamble to this entire battle of Tukayyid, whatever, was BS honor reasons that they kind of went with because honor! If anyone knows the Nostalgia Critics skit I'm referencing right there, you're welcome. It just doesn't make sense why they would even come back unless someone did some kind of honor BS. And it's just me harping on this, but yeah. Also, wasn't there 5? Where's the 5th one? Here we got Wolf, Shadow Jaguar, Birdie Boys. Forgot what they are. Smoke Jaguar? Something about bears over here. Oh yeah, we got the drop bears. The pigeon swords. Yeah. I realize how many people in the comments are going to be like, dear God, Airier, why'd you get the names wrong? You're welcome, Vic.
Houses, while having a numerical advantage, were struggling to defend themselves. This, for them, was a different kind of war.
You know, I probably should have noticed that.
Seemingly inadequate equipment and frontline combatants melted time and again in the face of clan discipline, superior training, and people bred for conflict just like this. When it became...
I'm going to be completely upfront there. The bred for conflict thing sounds absolutely stupid unless you're talking about elementals. Because in that case, physical body size matters and reaction time matters. But when you have a giant slow-moving mech, I don't think any of that actually matters. Just the fact that they had better tech and training would. Now, again, the elementals I would say are a different thing because, again, they're literally just people in armor. Really damn good armor, but people in armor who are 8 feet tall. So on that level, yeah, no, but you know, base genetics would matter. So that actually has a huge important factor of it. When you're in a giant mech, though, unless it's super fast, and you need someone who can just physically react faster beyond training's basic abilities, or I guess even cybernetic enhancement, which doesn't seem to be much of a thing in Battletech, then it would matter. So I'm just assuming that's one of those, yeah, we do genetics to make it stronger, faster. They can definitely pilot a mech better. 80s thing. It very much sounds like an 80s thing. Again, I will say elementals, because they're, actually using a body to do things, would have more effect. But out of that, in like an actual mech, no. I mean, you could literally have glass bones as long as you're suspended in there in a way that doesn't actually trigger that, like ever falling. You would be fine. I'm looking at you, Jester from Mass Effect. Yeah. Every time I hear they're bred for war, all I hear is, okay, so you had child soldiers who just started earlier. Big whoop. I mean, that's horrible, but also, Sorry, whenever it comes to genetics, there's certain facts where it just doesn't do that. And I know one of the comments going, well, they can think faster, to which I'm going to say, bullshit. You don't actually breed that. Thought process is not actually genetic in that effect. It's more of an overall blueprint for how things work. And you can easily fuck it up through inbreeding, which then cause mental defects, which could slow it down. So, no. Also, unless I'm completely wrong, which could be the case, nothing here has indicated that they have a mastery of genetics. Literally, it's just like, well, these people are really good at fighting, so let's make some more people really good at fighting with them. Sorry, this is just every time I hear anyone use the genetics argument about things that don't involve base capabilities, it doesn't matter. It's like in D&D, when you spec out a character, and then you don't use any of the character's stats. Yeah. It's like if you're building a rogue with a sneak build and you spec strength. Okay, that's nice. They're really strong. Are you using anything to do that? Like with sneak attacks, with a dexterity weapon? No. I mean, sure, you could come up with a multi-class for it, but it's just kind of there. It just is there. It doesn't actually do anything. If you don't need it, it's just extra. It's literally the equivalent of, okay, my penis is bigger than yours. Sorry, I may or may not be slightly triggered whenever it comes to stupid uses of genetics as the reason why something is better, because it doesn't work that way. Except in elementals, where actual body capabilities would matter because they're actually relying more on their body to actually do things and have durability and endurance to do it. So it would matter there. In a mech, unless it's super designed to have reflexes well beyond what a human is capable of, and as I said again, I'm going to have to restate him every time, it doesn't work that way. Hi everyone, welcome to Airier has an aneurysm about stupid things added in lore because the 80s thought it was cool and edgy, and why did every sci-fi thing have anything to do with the 80s? Just take out 50 IQ points and add it to muscle mass and think that was actually a good thing. I mean, it works in some things. I'm looking at you, Fury Road. But then in other things, I'm just going there going, no. Right now is one of those no's. Just no. That aside.
It became apparent that Terra was the primary invasion objective. Comstar stepped out of the shadows and decided to act. Comstar could no longer fence sit and facilitate.
That's what they actually
Comstar had
look
to
like.
roll up its sleeves and show the clanners who was boss.
Oh god, that's actually what they look like. It says Comstar. This is probably published material. Oh dear god, why am I just... I saw the gold, like the giant mechs in bright white, and it's so cool and clean and organized in front of a futuristic setting. It's like, this is neat. And then I saw some of their rituals where it's like magic religious order, and now we have them in literal priest robes and or wizard cloaks. And he has the beard and the ornamentation. And he has the, looks like a diadem. It's like, I really thought they were cool, and then I'm seeing this, and it's like, no. No, they think they're space wizards because they can turn on a phone.
Comstar, being the shifty fucks they are, decided to abuse the system. This is called asymmetrical strategic planning. In layman's terms, this is called tactical fuckery. So Comstar being Comstar and having studied their opponents in detail, they decided to bring the clans to a single point and annihilate them. In 3052, Comstar issued a batch-all.
What?
Batch-all in clanner speak is a direct challenge, a contest of wills to be won. And this was a challenge that the clans could not, without significant loss of honor, pass up.
Really? So the entire premise of this entire fight was Comstar being really intelligent and using tactics. Did the thing the clans did everywhere and everyone had already called them on. Like literally there was even a previously mentioned clan that just had a football match. I know Tex is saying that this is really intelligent, and honestly, it's pretty well done. But it's just, they're acting, it's being played off as if taking advantage of the clan's honor is a new concept. There's multiple places that try that. Tex has gone over them. People in my Discord have gone into even more detail on this. The only difference is they would have known to do it in advance rather than right when they were at their doorstep already, which I guess is smart, but also... This is like someone saying you're a tactical genius because you don't want your enemies to live and you want your allies to survive. It's like, remember, don't shoot yourself. Genius. Technically, you know, yes, you need to do that too, but the bar should be a little higher than that. On the other hand, these guys think AT&T internet is basically magic. They probably have a toaster party over a telegram machine. And yes, that was 40K reference. I don't know who I'm more disappointed in. The clans, because there's such an easy way to draw them all into one location, because honor! Or Comstar for having to plan out, hey, let's do the thing everyone else is already trying and failing at, but do it better. I mean, they won, so technically they worked, but also...
Comstar
it's not even contrived because they've established it would be a thing.
To the following. Fight on a chosen world, in this case, Tukayyid. The clans would be invited to bring their very best. Comstar would bring theirs. Each clan would have 2 cities as objectives. If the clans could conquer and hold them, they would win. Comstar would act as the defenders and would try to contest the objectives with all they had. If the clans won, Comstar would make no challenge to the clan conquest. If the clans were to lose, however, they would have to obey a 15-year truce on their honor to halt
15
all
years?
further
That's
invasion from a delineation line set at Tukayyid. To this direct challenge, the clanners agreed. This was...
Oh, speaking of elementals, I'm guessing this is actually one of them, because you can see his head relative to the rest of it. Why does he have a random syringe not injecting anything? Like, I know it's probably supposed to be like, oh yeah, he has some really cool tech to make sure he's roided up to do everything here. But also that's stupid because it's literally just sitting right there if it's not actually plugged into something. I know it's supposed to look cool and sci-fi, and this is definitely 80s tech right here. And by tech, I mean art. I just... If it's not 80s, it's heavily 80s inspired. It's literally like that huge brow. Yeah, this is why barbarians rule. It's the Conan vibe. It's the Conan vibe in space. That's all it is.
Bargained and done. After all, how could they refuse a direct challenge from a jumped-up telecom company pretending to be the inheritors of Star League? The nerve on those
technically
bastards.
they kind of are
As it
part of
turns
Star
out,
League,
underestimating
so.
Comstar would be about as smart as letting Michael Vick babysit your dog. Immediately, clanners began to bargain in...
God damn, Tex. Nothing to say. It's a good comment. It's such a stupid problem, but I I was not expecting a Michael Vick dog fighting ring reference. It's an apt metaphor because it's really stupid. It has an obvious downside, but also there's really no good solution here. Like, yeah, they won. Looking at it from the clan side, sure, they get honor. They get an entire enemy to stop fighting them, if that actually is believable, which they probably would lie. And it's just an easy conquest. I cannot speak today. I gotta look up the conquest. Ugh. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Airier Can't Speak. It's a thing that I do, apparently. It's an easy conquest for them, and if they lose, they just lose 15 years. And they'll be back because it's only 15 years. They've waited longer. It's just like, haha, we're going to bide our time, build up our tech, and then we're going to beat your ass again. So yeah, at least from their perspective, they're not going to lose. And if they do, it's only 15 years. They can just bide their time, stare at you, and let you know, we're going to kill you unless you surrender. Hi. Realistically, though, the only part of this that's smart is that they had to bring their best people. So if Comstar decided just to, focus on killing people rather than anything else, they have a definite win because they can strip out the major league talent from the clan right there. And yes, while most people in the clan are very heavily trained and have better mechs, if you take out the best and the cream of the crop of an entire generation, you take out the best of an entire generation. Therefore, everything left is not as good to train the next generation because that's just how training works, unless they fuck that up. Usually, it's an actual thing where you get the best teachers and people who've done things so that they can pass on their knowledge when they're near done with their, or ability to act, which probably could be extended beyond that. So it really only go in your time as a, although clan, they probably have some stupid rule where you fight when you get old and die in a warrior's death, I assume. It doesn't, I could be wrong, but it seems like something needlessly wasteful to throw away experience, so I assume it probably does happen. Does seem to be a clan thing. It's like, I like their mechs. I hate how stupid they are. Granted, I can say that about the Inner Sphere too, but seriously, the only upside here is for the clan. They just don't think it matters. That's pretty obvious. It's honor, and there's literally no downside to them. The upside for everyone else is that they have a shot at all the best people in one place. Destroy the fucking planet. It's like, hey, you're all on the planet. Gravital or orbital bombardment, bitch. It's like, yes, technically that's outlawed by Comstar, who are in charge of this fight. Yes, also the rest of the clans would probably be incensed and attack, but this is a pretty big blow. If you could get everyone in one location, it's probably worth it. I doubt that's what happened, though.
Internally for the privilege of drop order, or who gets to hit the planet first and how much shit they intend to bring. This was a contest in itself, bidding forces in order of battle in order to out-honor the honorable honor for honor's sake. Honor on the side, hold the honor with extra honor. Some clanners even did almost a third-grade level of homework on their opposing commander, Comstar's own Anastasius Vogt. The clanners dismissed him as a paper general, someone with no military experience, leading an army of bureaucrats driving machines they couldn't understand from an era long gone.
Technically that is accurate for everyone in the Inner Sphere. That seems to be accurate for all of them, actually. And I don't want to say this. I really don't want to say this. I think Texas... Oh, this hurts. Being too hard on the clan. Okay. I managed to say that. I only gave myself a small headache saying it. Ugh, God, that did not feel good. Let me explain. The idea that they didn't do any homework on the general is probably not that surprising because they've steamrolled everyone at such a rate, at such an effect, and they know enough that nothing has really changed in the Inner Sphere except they fight every time and we've killed everyone we fought. So underestimating anyone you're going against at this point is kind of understandable because they basically haven't really needed to worry about anything up until now. It's like when it's you versus a steamroller, and the steamroller has a nuke. You don't really need to know how you match up in your tactical preparations when there's a steamroller with a nuke, which really does beg the question, what the fuck kind of Decepticon has a nuke on hand, is already apparently looking like a steamroller, and is going to fire it off in its face? Actually, that's such a stupid plan. That probably would be a Decepticon MO. I'm honestly surprised they don't do that normally. Just give him a nuke and don't tell him it's a nuke, and he'll fire off, and everyone does. Yeah, no. Never mind. That makes perfect sense, actually. When the metaphor makes sense when you didn't intend it to. So, yeah. Knowing nothing about Comstar and knowing everything about Inner Sphere so far, it makes sense not to really care because they kind of don't need to. I'm assuming it's wrong because they lost. But it's not unreasonable in this case to not pay attention. It just makes sense based on the multiple planets they already took over. Again and again and again. Hell, even taking advantage of their honor isn't something that they haven't explored before because it's happened. I'm again referencing the planet with the football match that they lost, and that was how they did it. Yeah, American football for anyone watching anywhere else. Unless it actually was soccer. I could be mistaken. Huh.
The clanners thought he was nothing more than a pretender. A joke. A noble in the guise of a soldier. He was to them a non-threat, leading an army of children, pretending at war. The clans had brought their best and brightest. To answer a call of this extraordinary magnitude, they fielded their best commanders and most elite battle-hardened soldiers.
All in one place.
They brought forward their best mechs and equipment
all
from
in
the
one
invasion
place.
corridors. They would take to this field of battle with their khans leading from the front. This was their greatest challenge of the era. This was their finest hour.
And I'm assuming orbital bombardment happened next. I mean, dear God, if they have everyone in one place, they have their leader. It's not even just their best fighters. It's their leaders and their mechs and the smartest. I don't. You do not put all your leaders and your best people and your smartest and your brightest and your most technologically advanced in one location. I don't even need to make a specific real-world reference. Putting all your eggs in one basket is a very well done and overdone trope and phrase and metaphor because it's a very legitimate thing. You don't put everything in one place because when you inevitably fuck up, everything breaks and you're screwed. It's why in the American government, for example, if there's ever a time such as the State of the Union address where the president and Congress, both houses are in one place, there is a designated survivor who is specifically taken away to an undisclosed location somewhere either in the West, Camp David, or somewhere else, maybe in a bunker under the White House. Usually not there because it's too close, but somewhere specifically far enough away that if any catastrophic event happened and the entirety of government was taken out, there would be a chain of command, heavily reduced, but there would still be someone in charge. Because you don't put everyone in the same place. I don't know if that's what's going to happen here, but dear God. I mean, I gave them credit for not needing to think that they needed to worry, but this takes it to the other extreme of no. You're so not worried, you're actively helping stupidly. And it makes sense because we've established the clan is obsessed with the concept of honor. I will admit the ship looks cool as hell. That looks really sweet. I love it. It just the rings and the layers, and it's so cool. I'm wondering why this looks like it was cut by a laser sword though, because it's all glowing. That's a little creepy actually. But still. Love the art. Absolutely love the art. It's one of the things I'm going to say. When you get into the big details on ships, Battletech has some really nice ones. Oh, baby. Kind of like it more than 40K ship design, actually. 40K kind of makes sense in a Gothic style applied in wide range. Range? Well, I can't speak. Range and variety, that's what I meant to say. But this just looks like they're actually taking into account that space is weird when you're traveling in nonlinear ways like a jump drive would be, since it's not actually propulsion. That's so cool. And thank you for letting me just take a second to look at something nice other than just how Stupid. Everything about this plan just went from an obvious trap to springing the trap to show you're better than the trap, which would make sense, except you're literally I'm not even talking about how they're out honoring each other, trying to see if we can go in alone first to get more honor. I don't even need to say that. It's like self-decapitation at this point.
They realized this would be a glorious battle sung for generations, a tipping
Well,
point
technically,
in their history.
There is a song on YouTube about this.
How right
Streamstorm
they
did. It's
were.
very nice.
You have to understand.
Why is there fire?
This was what clanners had wanted, a triumph of their way of life, their society, their ethos versus the barbarians they intended to conquer. Above all, honor was on the line. It was a challenge to everything they stood for, and defeat seemed impossible. Finally, the Inner Sphere had the grit to actually obey their correct rules of combat and issue a challenge to determine this all in a reasonable manner to a clanner. Finally, the Inner Sphere would play by their rules. But, as it turns out, where the clan was concerned with honor and protocol, Comstar was concerned with,
winning?
Well, winning.
Oh, that actually was the case.
On the defense, Comstar brought everything they had. Protocols of ancient technologies were unsealed, opened, and emptied, and pressed into the hands of untested, but well-trained and semi-green pilots. Some of these pilots took to the field of weapons that had in many cases not been used in 300 years.
Ooh.
For this titanic conquest, Comstar emptied every garrison in the inner...
I mean, Comstar is probably the one place that could do the maintenance to make sure those things still work. On the other hand, I kind of got to give the old Star League credit, because if they can build something that lasts 300 years and still works without being used, that's impressive. For an example, a car, not even a fancy high-end car that will break if you breathe on it wrong. Seriously, some of them are really temperamental. But just a very general Honda, if you don't drive it for enough days, and I literally mean if you just let it sit too long, things break without being touched. Cars do that. Those are some of the most frequently fixed, repaired, and understood things out there. I don't even mean like the technological side. I mean just things break down from aging and setting in a place too long. That's actually a thing that happens. So the fact that they can do giant, like mechs, war machines, anything with tech that normally has to move a bit, and it can sit for 300 years, and it still even turns on, that's actually pretty impressive.
Inner Sphere except Terra. Comstar dedicated 12 entire armies to the field of battle.
Oh.
And was prepared to lose them all to save Terra alone.
Wait, they actually went to the field?
And while the comm guards were an admittedly untested force of green pilots, they had excellent training and knew the stakes. They could win just this once.
Training does matter a lot.
Stop the invasion. Because clanners didn't know how to engage in takesies backsies with any level of aptitude and just invade anyways if they lost.
Yeah.
But if Comstar lost and mangled the clan war machine, they could buy time for reinforcements from the great houses. Either way, Comstar...
Huh. On the one hand, finally pilots with good training. I mean, I'm assuming other pilots had training, but it was probably more along the lines of, okay, a firing line is a really advanced technique. Sure. I'm still wondering why they didn't just start dropping rocks. It doesn't sound like in-universe propulsion outside of jumping around is anything heavily developed. And most of the drives were, you need to get 1 or 2 charges and you got to spin them up and it takes a long time. So movement isn't that fast. Just nudging a rock out of the way once they're deployed and letting it hit the planet is a viable strategy. And yes, I know. It's because they said it was banned, because they did it a lot, and that's why they lost a lot of problems in the Dark Age. But at the same time, if you want to win and just take out apparently their entire planet leadership or multiple clan leaderships on the single planet, dropping a rock would be very effective. Hell, if you drop a big enough one, you only need a single one. And when you get that large, the ship is not going to stop it by shooting it, because that would not actually help, because it probably would be close enough to the gravity well at that point for them to notice that it would be a lost cause because any additional would be useless. In orbital dynamics, breaking up giant asteroids when they're about to hit a planet doesn't really work because the mass doesn't change. You just change it from a single explosion that ends the planet to shotgun pellets that end the planet. If you really want something depressing to watch, there are videos showing exactly what that looks like on YouTube. Don't look them up. It's kind of terrifying. And not in the, oh, this is kind of scary, more in the, what are we doing here just to suffer level of terrifying. Yeah.
Star was going into the battle knowing this would be a meat grinder.
Yeah.
Even with their equipment being close to battle parity, they would be the
close to parity. Oh, wow.
And this would be their Alamo.
Clan objectives
the
in
order
drop
of battle
order.
for 3052 is well documented.
Wait. Oh, no. Okay, you're going to do this text, really? Clan Smoke Jaguar, Dijin Heights, Port Racy. First drop, May 1st. Oh. Oh, now that's interesting. Nova Cats, really? That's actually what they're called? Tossed. I guess they were tossed off. I feel bad for that joke, and I apologize. I wish Fushimi would remember to edit it out, but he's an asshole. He won't do that. Ghost
This
Bear.
is the clan drop
Spank.
order for...
They dropped the bear on Spanic. Look. Really? Really, Spanic? There's really no joke I can make about that that's YouTube appropriate, because one is a stupid Sonic reference. The other is sound kind of racist. I don't know which one would be worse. Probably both. Both are bad. Steel Vipers. Kelly
Tukayyid
Springs.
and their objectives.
Diamond Sharks. Jade Falcons.
And the battle
Wolf.
that unfolded was...
Did anyone else get the fact that Wolf is the only one with a big logo? Like, look at everyone else. Like, look at this. General size bear's pretty big.
Order for
Smaller.
Tukayyid and their
Smaller.
objectives.
Smaller. Wolf.
And the battle...
It is just twice the size of everything else. Significantly bigger than Jade Falcon. It's just a much larger logo. It's taller. It's wider. I'm not saying that Dex has a priority here, but yeah, we know. Clan Wolf is apparently the best clan, and I have received many people telling me that they are the best because they have a Karinsky, who's also an asshole and other things that I'm not going to say on YouTube, but also they're the best.
that unfolded was apocalyptic.
Yeah. Part 2, Apocalypse Tukayyid. All right, so I'm probably going to cut this one here, guys. And that was part 1 of the Battle of Tukayyid from Text Talks Battletech. I wasn't sure how far I get into this one, but there's just so much I want to say because I just love digging into this. I love getting into the lore. I love pulling things apart. This is fun to me, and I really want to enjoy this. So I'm going to probably do this in at least 2 parts. Well, I mean, at least because I've already ended this one. So yeah, details. So when everyone is back next week, I will be doing this unless something else comes up. I might push it back another day, but I'm going to definitely do all this. I'm glad we're finally getting a Tukayyid, and we're here. Is it Tukayyid or Tukayyid? He said it earlier, and I already forgot. Literally, why do I... Memory of a Goldfish... What was I talking about? Whatever. I'm glad we're finally getting into this. I'm glad I got to do this, and I just want to know more about what's going on. Specifically, how the hell were they able to win? Because I thought they would do some kind of underhanded shit to actually survive, like dropping rocks, but it sounds like, no, they're not. And in all likeliness, if they did drop a rock, then they would probably be attacked by mass by the other clans that didn't attack them. I don't know why I went into that accent. That's weird. That was really weird. I'm not going to do that again. But joking aside, if they did drop a rock, that would probably really piss off the remaining clans who didn't invade. But also be very effective because Scorched Earth is technically a very viable strategy. If you need real-life examples, just look at how invasions of Russia as a land war don't usually work if they just destroyed everything during World War I and II and multiple other conflicts. But it's a thing that actually works if you're willing to accept unbelievable losses. I mean, long-term, it is unbelievable losses, but if you're willing to do that, you will win. It just is it worth it at that point? It sounds like, yes, it would be. Especially since their winning only gives them 15 years delay. Yeah, it doesn't really seem worth it. there's definitely something else that had to have happened. Like they put everyone in the same location. They could just wipe out all clan leadership that arrived. Sorry, I'm still stuck on that. So for everyone watching, thanks. I'm going to finish this up next week. Well, unless I BS more because it's fun as hell. Which I very well might because it's fun as hell. Seriously, Tex did a great job on this, and I just love digging into this. I did find one store that did have clan warfare stuff, like the clan boxes in stock. Just not that day. Yeah, apparently they had just sold the last one. I'm not jelly at all about that. I could go on Amazon. I could go on eBay. I just don't like using Amazon if I can avoid it. And eBay is just price gouging right now because apparently there's a new drop coming, so everything out currently is just really high. Yeah, it's all the same though. For everyone watching, thanks. You guys know the deal. Link below, original video. When you're done, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.